Sergeant and Mrs. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Is that a tub in the kitchen?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
This is the way.
We want it men.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast. This week, we're going to try something a little different. John and Justin had to step away for a little bit, and so I have brought on Jason Wasoko as a new co-host. Try a new format and see how it goes. Jason, how you doing tonight, man?
Bright suns, good. How are you?
I am good. Bright suns and rising moons. So anyway, we're going to start off real quick today. We're going to get to Galaxy's Edge here in a moment, but I just wanted to touch on some news and just feelers, see how the week's been going, and just, shoot the shit for a few minutes with Jason before we got going into the main subject. So, Jason, you got anything new Star Wars this week?
This week, I got lots of stuff. This was a really good week for me, a bad week for my wife. I got the Black Series Return of the Jedi. I guess it's the 4-pack with Han, Leia, Luke, and the Ewok on the speeder. I got the Clone Trooper 3-pack from the Vintage Collection. The Black Series Wampa, which I think everyone got with a sample of Tide. If you wanted it, Hasbro threw it at you. The Black Series Cad Bane, I got that. I also got the Gaming Greats, the Purge Trooper, and the Darth Nihilus. Today in the mail, I got the IG-11 Mandalorian. I don't know what these things are called.
They're the Carbonite, or not Carbonite, the Credit Series, right?
Series. Yes, I got one of those. And I got my Black Series Boba Fett Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary.
Nice.
I got a lot this week.
Yeah, you did. Only thing I got was the Wampa, because that's the one thing that I've really been wanting. I've wanted a Black Series Wampa for a minute, but they were always, over $100 because it came with the Luke, and it was just a hard figure to get. But when they came out with that new Black Series with the new packaging, I had to pick it up. But, as far as the packaging on that, it's cool. I like the foil packs on those, but it gets scratched too easily. You set it down and it gets scratched. I've seen some that have been insanely scratched up. How's yours looking?
I actually got two somehow. I accidentally hit a second one in my cart. So I got two. So I got one. My son got the one that got dinged up. So mine is good. His is a little dinged up, but he's an opener. He likes to open that stuff. So he's happy.
Right. I had to open mine up. That figure is heavy. It feels like it's over a pound, but it poses. It's probably one of the better Black Series that I've had that posed. And I do like that Heroes 4-pack with the Ewok on the speeder. Yeah. I saw that the other day at your house, and that one pretty impressive. I do like all the Comic-Con exclusives that they're doing with the Black Series.
And I like the feel of that one. That feels like an old school Black Series figure with the black packaging and the green label on it. It's not like the newer kind of stuff. It feels like the old original run of the Black Series.
How's that IG-11 looking? I know that it's basically a repaint.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's a repaint. It looks more like used. It's in that used universe. It's got dust on them. It's painted to look like the concept of IG-11, but it feels more like the IG-11 in the show. My card was a little bent when it came in, which is a little upsetting because, again, I'm not an opener. So it just stabbed my heart when I opened it, and I was like, "Oh no!" But yeah, I like it. I love the Black Series on these vintage-looking cards. I think those really speak to my inner child, I guess.
Yeah, and those are a cool card. I did like the Death Trooper when they did it, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because I was holding out for the Wampa. And with the Black Series, I got to kind of be real particular which one I'm going to buy, just because you can blow a lot of money real fast. But moving on, speaking of Mando stuff, the Razor Crest. What's your thoughts on that bad boy that Hasbro Pulse is putting out?
I'm excited about it. I can't wait. I haven't ordered one yet, but I will. The unlocks are always exciting. I like how the carbonite blocks are coming. I kind of felt like that might be the next one because looking at the photos, there was the overhang slides on top of the Razor Crest. You can see where they're supposed to go and how they slide in and out. So I kind of had a feeling that was coming. I haven't ordered mine, but I will. I'm really excited about getting that. How about you?
Yeah, I'm torn because it is $350, but it does look like it's going to be incredible. I know I will be kicking myself for not ordering it when I see it in person, because I did that with the sail barge, because it was just one of those where the hell I'm going to put this thing. When you see it in person, it's just amazing. And like you said, the unlocks are going to be pretty cool, because it does have the baby Yoda, and the carbonite blocks are cool. I could really give a crap about the auto eject, because it looks silly. That was kind of weak for the first unlock, but I know when they did the Centurion, I think it's called, for X-Men, the unlocks for that got pretty insane. Sentinel. Yeah, the Sentinel, that got pretty insane with those unlocks. But I mean, I think $350 for that's a fair offer for what they're, fair price for what they're offering. I think we all, as collectors, kind of got spoiled, because when you saw a piece that was that much money, you knew, okay, if I wait 6 months, I can find it for $50 in the store. And you can't do that when it comes to Hasbro Pulse. I did see a rumor, since we're going to stick on the Mando, because that's sort of where things are Mando right now. Yak Face is rumored the retro line. They're going to do a Mando run of the retro line. That should be pretty cool. I know Toy Weaver is doing a 3 3/4, 4-point point of movement actuation of those, and those have been pretty cool. I think it'll be a cool run. The retro line, the only one I got was the Boba Fett, because that's sort of that's my jam, and I didn't really do anything else. So yes and no on the retro line. I don't like the cards, because they do they're like uniform. It's sort of like I'm a bass player, so you buy a retro or a relic base, and people can look at it and say, oh, you bought a relic base, because they're all they all look the same. But I'm kind of looking forward. I guess I'm looking forward to these. See what they're going to do with them. How's your thoughts? Thoughts?
I'm in the same boat. I'm excited about them. I don't like how the retro collection is basically repacks of something that we already have and were released 40 years ago. I really like the newer stuff in that older look. And if they're going to release, if this is the way that they're going to go with the retro line, I'm very excited for that, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm hoping that pans out, that rumor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cool thing, and it'll be something else to collect. A new thing for Baby Yoda, and of course, with more Mandalorian stuff, you can't go wrong. Right. You did just bring up repaints. How do you feel about the holiday special Black Series Christmas stuff that they're doing?
Yeah, I kind of rolled my eyes at that. I didn't pre-order them. I'm not sure I'm going to get them. If I do, I would get the one from Solo that looks like Santa Claus, but I just, I don't know. I mean, Lego does it, Funko does it, so why not Hasbro? I'm sure that's the angle Hasbro took with it. But when you see those, they look, oh my gosh, because they're so realistic. I think that's the thing I'm struggling with. These figures look so realistic, and then you put the colors on them, the sweater print on, I guess it's the deco on the shirts, and it just doesn't look right. It looks
right. I think the colors are they're so striking. Maybe if we see them in person, they'll be better. But yeah, like you said, Hasbro is slowly becoming Funko with all the repaints, and that's sort of the reason why I got out of Funko Pops, or don't collect them as much as I did, because you do have the pose changes, so it goes from being a brand new figure, and all they did was move an arm. Hasbro is definitely it's becoming a new Funko.
And sticking with that repaint thing real quick, Yak Face also posted a claim that the Star Wars budget for Hasbro is not sizable for 2021 and 2022, and that we should expect more repacks with the older figures with maybe newer decos. So I think we're going to get more of that for the next couple of years, unfortunately.
That stinks as a collector, because I mean, I guess it's a money saving thing. And, they figure they can make money at it. I mean, how many Boba Fetts have they released? I think it's 5 to 10 that they're doing.
Yeah. At least one a year, because Boba Fett sells.
Right. And I've got, I've got two or three of them, but I did not buy when they redid the archive, I still had my original Black Series one, so I didn't do that one. But I know they just released a Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett. Yeah. Which looks like it'll be a new sculpt, so that may happen. But I did order the 3 3/4 Fett from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I ordered that one too, pre-ordered that. I didn't pre-order the Return of the Jedi Black Series Boba Fett, and I'm regretting that, but I'm sure I'm a dedicated collector. I'll find one way.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll pop up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a cool figure, the Black Series one, because it's a deluxe figure and it's got the blaster that falls apart and it's got a flame, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be cool to display. Again, I'm not an opener, so but if you are, that's going to be pretty cool to display out in front of your collection.
Right. All my modern stuff I open up just because it's, if I'm going to spend the $20-25 on it, I want to open it and play with it. And but the vintage stuff, that's a different, if it's packaged, that stays packaged. Yeah. I guess moving on, I guess that's all the news for this week. You got anything else you want to cover?
No, that's it for me.
All right. Awesome. But let's move on to the main topic this week is Galaxy's Edge. Jason and I have both had the privilege of going post-COVID, and Jason just did a trip 2 weeks ago down there with the
early October. Yep.
I'm sorry, we went pre-COVID. You went post-COVID.
Oh, post-COVID and pre-COVID. You went pre-COVID. Yeah.
I love Galaxy's Edge. It's a great land. I went there last year, about a month after it opened, so I didn't get to do Rise of the Resistance, which at the time I wasn't that, I was like, I'll worry about Rise later. But the more I found out about Rise, I was like, I really missed the ball on that one.
Something special.
How is Rise?
It's awesome. It's incredible. It's more than a ride. It's an experience. You really immerse yourself into that Star Wars universe, and I'm trying not to spoil it, but it is something cool and it's something special. So
very cool. Do you have any tips, on getting the ride pass?
Yeah, as of right now, they're doing it twice. So pre-COVID, they were only doing it once. You need to be there first thing in the morning. So the first time we went to Rise of the Resistance, we were at Hollywood Studios at 5 a.m. just to get the boarding pass at, what was it, like 7 a.m. the first time they opened up right in the morning. Now they're doing it at 10 and 2. So your first opportunity to get a boarding pass is at 10 a.m. And if you don't get it then, you get a chance at 2 p.m. If you already get it at 10 a.m., you're not going to get it a second time for 2 p.m. They kind of lock you out. So there's more opportunities. It's my understanding that, and this is just my hearing things on the internet and YouTube and stuff. It's my understanding since it got struck by lightning, it goes down a lot. There's a lot of technical stuff behind the scenes. So there is a chance that if you don't get on, postpone it until you can get on. So if you get that 10 a.m. spot and you don't get on right away, they will postpone that and kind of lock out the 2 p.m. crowd until you get that ride. So you get first come, first serve kind of deal.
Right, because I know they do like a backup boarding group, or it just depends on how the day goes. But yeah, I have heard that there was a lot of trouble with the ride just because it's such a crazy ride and so many moving parts and
extremely technical.
Yeah, very, very technical. And I mean, if you guys want to watch the YouTube stuff, go look it up. I haven't done it because I don't want to spoil the ride. I think I've kind of had it, a little bit spoiled because you stream in Facebook and somebody will pop up a post, a picture of it. And you're just like, crap, I didn't want to see that. But yeah, I'm hoping in April I can get back down there and a ticket to get on that ride because it does look incredible.
One thing I will mention about Rise of the Resistance. So when you go visit this land, it takes place between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Or is it Rise of Skywalker? Either one. It takes place in between then. Something that happens on the ride affects an attitude of someone in Rise of Skywalker. So when you ride this ride, and if you want to message me offline, if you want to message me, I'm not going to say what it is on this podcast and spoil it for you. But something happens as a result of this ride that affects the motivations of character on Rise of Skywalker. So I like that you're really in the Star Wars universe.
Wow, I think I've heard that one other place, but that's pretty awesome that ride that'll happen. And that's the one thing Disney does do well is they definitely will layer things and you go here and you learn a little bit of stuff. So that's pretty cool. But just to cover real quick, I guess synopsis of the land. It is Black Spire Outpost set on the planet of Batuu, which, like Jason said, is between episodes 8 and 9. So you do get the Falcon with the the rectangle radar dish. And there is Rey and Chewie and Kylo and 2 stormtroopers. Who's that? There's a commander or somebody that runs around. And then there's a spy called Vi who Leia General Leia sit down there to discover the land. But there's a few books that cover it, and there's a lot of some backstory to the land. I think it's cool. I enjoyed it. I've got some stuff we'll hold for a little bit later on my true feelings of the land. It's cool. If you're a Star Wars nut, you'll enjoy the hell out of it. Do you have anything?
No, I would say you can immerse yourself as much as you want. You can read that book, Black Spire Outpost, which really gives you some of that backstory, like you were just mentioning. Tells you a little bit about the Q of Rise of the Resistance and how that formed. It tells you a little bit more about Oga's Cantina. You know, the only other thing I can think right now is Black Spire Outpost was mentioned in Solo, so it was mentioned in a Star Wars movie. So it is there. It does exist.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job of trying to make up, oh crap, we didn't make this a land that people already know. So they're adding to the lore of it, and it does pop up. It popped up in Resistance for a minute. The Resistance cartoon, one of the characters lived on Batuu for a minute. Yeah. And the Black Spire Outpost book, I enjoyed it. It was basically a 300-page ad for Galaxy's Edge, but it was a very enjoyable book. It made me want to really immerse myself because it did go into the Rise of Resistance, the Q and how they had set up their base and stuff in there. Yeah, the one thing I did enjoy about that land is when you are near the Rise of the Resistance Q, it is, it's like the rebel section of the land, and the, that's where Rey and Chewie normally tend to hang out. And then when you get to the TIE fighter, is it TIE Interceptor or what? Echelon, TIE Echelon. Yeah. That's where Kylo does his thing. And then in the center, you have the Falcon, which is sort of where I don't think I ever saw Kylo near the Falcon, but Rey and Chewie. Chewie is definitely near the Falcon. I don't ever remember seeing Rey, but Chewie will pop up and work on it. Yep. And I guess that's what we'll go next is on the Falcon and the Smuggler's Run.
No, go ahead. Smuggler's Run is a great ride.
Yeah, it's a cool ride. I loved it. The queue on that is insanely immersive because you are in Hondo Anaka's Transport Solutions is what he calls it. And you are kind of walking through their warehouse, and there's a lot of Easter eggs around there. And, you walk down and there's it looks like there was a Sabacc game that was interrupted. And there's a big engine. I don't know what kind of engine it is, but you can mess with that. And if on your phone, there's the Disney Play app, which turns your phone into a data pad, and you can hack into a lot of stuff in the land. And I think you can hack into that engine and make it do stuff, and then it'll fire up on its own every now and again. Mm-hmm. And if you look up, there's a window. And every now and again, you'll see a porg pop up and chew on some electric wires, and it kind of electrocute itself.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look for it.
Yeah, right when you make the turn, if you're walking straight, the engine's on your left, and you're walking straight, then it's like a U-turn or something. If you look up, there's a window there, and there's a porg right there that pops up. And do you have anything to add for the
queue? No, there's some stormtrooper armor there. There's, like you said, the Sabacc. There's popcorn there. There's a lot of Easter eggs. If you keep your eyes open, you'll find stuff that will remind you of the movies. When you walk into the Falcon,
yes,
it gives you goosebumps because it is straight out of the movies. It is 1:1 scale. It is amazing because you are on the Falcon. You are on the actual Falcon for all intents and purposes, and it's just as a Star Wars fan, there's nothing better than walking on. I keep saying this because it is like my mind was blown when
dude, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing you talk about it because it's just that freaking awesome. It's that cool of an experience walking into that.
My only issue with the experience is, I guess it's just bad luck. Whenever we walk on, they call our colors right away because pre-COVID, they give you cards to let you know if you're a pilot, gunner, or engineer. Those are your roles on the ride. And whenever we walk on, they immediately call our colors to try to take our photos because we got to get on the ride real quick while other people are just walking around. So it is a small space. They do limit how many people get on there. And post-COVID, just real quick, post-COVID, you won't be able to take photos because they're making sure everyone's 6 feet apart and staying safe. But pre-COVID, you could walk around and take photos. There are porg nests everywhere. The porgs have taken over that area of the Falcon. They've grabbed wire. They've grabbed any piece of material that they can find. They've woven themselves nests. So if you really look around, you're going to find that kind of stuff, that level of detail in that space.
Right. It is amazing. The one thing that's cool about that space that I noticed is when you're walking around, I don't know how Disney did it, but there's certain pieces of the floor that are loose. So when you're walking on it, you get that like echo feel while you're, like, oh, you're on an old piece of junk, hunk
Yeah.
of junk spaceship. And I was fortunate. My stuff wasn't called as fast as yours. I'm not. That just stinks that you didn't get to
Yeah.
spend a whole lot of time on there.
Yep.
But I know one time I was standing in line with my son because my son lives in Orlando and he was able to spend the day with me there. The Falcon starts going crazy, and the lights go dim and it kind of shuts down.
Yeah.
And there's a button that's kind of hidden towards, if you're looking at the chessboard, it's to the left and kind of in the corner. And if you run up and hit that, it'll let everything come back to normal. And when I heard it shut down, everybody's kind of looking at each other. And I had just been over there messing with it and kind of told my son, I said, if this happens, you hit this button. And as soon as we got called in line, that button starts going. So I, like an idiot, push him to the side and just beeline it over there. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hit this button. And nobody knew what was happening. And, after I hit it and got it going back to, got everything going back to normal, I was like, yeah, it was just a cool experience. And nobody on the Falcon knew what the hell was going on. So
I love it. I love that level of immersion.
Yeah, that I get goosebumps just thinking about it, because it was, you walk in there and you're like, number one, you tear up when you see that 1-to-1 Falcon, because that's the first time they've ever built a 1-to-1 full-size Falcon. They never even did it for the movies because it's just such a awesome big ship, and you walk on that, you walk in the chest room and it's just like, oh crap, I'm really here and this is really happening, because that's the best, one of the best parts. How did you feel about the ride itself when you're in the cockpit?
I mean, the ride itself is a giant video game, but you're flying the Falcon. I mean, how can you beat that? You can't take that home on your Xbox. It's you're sitting in the seats that Han and Chewbacca sit in. You get goosebumps doing that. And then you pull the lever to go to hyperspace, and the cabin rumbles, the lights flash in front of you, the Starline, you see the Starline emerge, you see the Starline pulling out in front of you, and then you go into hyperspace, and it's just an incredible experience. I can't say anything more than just go and experience Galaxy's Edge, because it's just an awesome place for a Star Wars fan.
Right. The one that ride's awesome. The one, before you be a pilot, the one thing I would tell you is at least experience the ride once. Go through the single rider or try to spend some time on it before you become a pilot, because it is the same ride over and over again.
Yep.
And I don't know. I was fortunate. I got to spend 4 days in Galaxy's Edge when I was there, and I probably rode that ride 20 times. Just it's running through the single file queue, going through the main queue, and you learn the ride. And the better you know it, the more fun your ride's going to be. That's the one piece of advice I could give you when it comes to that one.
Yeah. So to paint the picture real quick, so there's 3 of the roles. There's the pilot, the gunner, the engineer. Hondo's added seats in the back of the Falcon and the cabin, so there's 6 seats now, not 4 like in the movies. If you're the left pilot, you're going to be controlling the left and right aspect of the Falcon, and you're going to hit brakes at certain points. If you're the right pilot, you're going to be going up and down, and you're going to pull back and go to hyperspace. Gunners sit behind them. They hit buttons that flash on the console to your left or right, depending on where you sit. You're going to be shooting TIE fighters as they emerge in front of you, and you're going to blast them. If you don't do anything, there's a chance that you're going to wreck the Falcon, and that is reflected as you step off the ride. So you want to make sure that you blast as many TIE fighters as possible. And then the engineers, they're going to repair the ship. They're going to fire their tow cables, because the thing you really want is to steal coaxium for Hondo. And he's going to turn around and sell it and give you part of the reward, and he'll break that down. And he tells you, you'll hear Hondo during the ride. He'll tell you, gunners do this, engineers do that, pilots go this. And then if you're not doing it, if he tells the pilots, get behind the train, hey, pilots, get behind the train. He'll keep telling you until you actually do it. So it's very immersive like that.
Many of you been able to get? I was able to get 2, but how about you?
2 is my best. 3 is the most.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard rumors of 4, but that
like,
first one just comes out so fast, and the Falcon just doesn't feel like it wants to go after that first one.
Yeah, the first time I think we played, we got nothing.
Wow.
Hondo was not happy with that.
Yeah, let's move on to what I think is the best part of Galaxy's Edge, Savvy's
Yeah.
lightsaber workshop. I'm trying to hold my shit together talking about this.
Again, it's if you're listening to this at home, every time we say immersive, take a drink, because again, this is very immersive. It's just an incredible experience.
Basically, the gist of this is there's a Savvy, and then he has a group of gatherers, and they collect things from throughout the galaxy. They collect scrap metal, and that's sort of the code word for lightsaber. It's $200 to do it, but it is worth to me every penny, because when you go and buy a lightsaber from Doc Ondar's, you're paying $120 to $150, and you don't get a bag, you don't get a blade. They give you a pin when you do this, and then you get the experience, which is about a 20-minute experience, which as a Star Wars fan is the best amazing experience you can get.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very magical experience.
And the hardest part of me was of the whole experience was seeing through my tears.
No, I to be honest, the only time I teared up was when I saw the Falcon for the first time. When everybody holds up their lightsaber for the first time, that gives you goosebumps. That right there. If you don't feel anything, you're not a real Star Wars fan.
Yeah, that whole experience is amazing. If you get the good builder that's walking you through it, you pick your kyber crystal, and to me, I think you can feel the Force if you close your eyes and there's a spot where you get to pick your kyber crystal, and the detail of it's incredible, because if you've watched Rogue One, where they store the kyber crystals is the same thing that's in the tank of Rogue One that they're trying to blow up.
Yeah, and if you're having trouble picking a kyber crystal, you can step out and go to Doc Ondar's and pick another one, buy it, and your lightsaber will light up to that color. So don't kill yourself if you're having trouble picking between red, green, and blue. You can go out and buy another one.
If you do buy a red one, you do have a chance of getting a black black kyber crystal, which is like 1 in 200.
Yep.
But unfortunately, instead of it lighting up your saber black, it lights it up red.
Yes, there's nothing special about the black other than you get the black one. It's drag.
And they are allowing you to buy extra scrap metal parts, because I guess because of COVID, they're trying to make their money back. And you can now buy, I think it's what, $25 if you buy one, and then $40 if you buy two.
Yeah.
So you get to customize your saber even more.
Yep. Which is cool to bring home extra pieces and change things out. Olga's Cantina. That is one of my favorite places to go. I'm not a big drinker, but just being in a canteen, amazing thing. I love DJ Rex. DJ Rex is part of Star Tours, the old version, and I love how they've continued that and brought him into this new version, and he's now the DJ of the Olga's Cantina. He's going to be playing music. There's like a 3-hour loop, so no matter when you come in, chances are you're going to find a new section. They're not going to be playing the same section over and over again every 15 minutes like it's a Chuck E. Cheese. And he does play new music from like Figure and Dan in the Model Notes from the original, A New Hope. And it sounds very similar, so you can listen to it and say, yeah, I think that is part of the same band that I saw in A New Hope.
Oh, very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did like it. I am a drinker, so we did drop a lot of money when we were in Olga's.
Yeah.
The one that I liked, I did the fuzzy tauntaun, which was cool. They put a foam on top, which does numb your face while you're drinking it. And so it does make it fun. So my wife and I, we sat there for about 20 minutes debating if we were going to do the beer flight. And she finally just looks at me and goes, just freaking order it. Yeah, it was a cool experience. They bring it out. And one of the cool things about Galaxy's Edge is when you do order one of the collectible drinks, they bring it to you in a glass, but then they bring you a new glass that's packaged and everything, so you could take that home, so you don't have a glass that's all nasty from you drinking out of it. So they did, at least Disney did think about that. And my wife also got the Jedi Mind Trick, which was kind of cool. It has dry ice in it, which makes it looks like it's smoking, and it's a little bit of a fruity drink, but she seemed to enjoy it because it does have that smoking element of it.
Yeah, I got the Yub Nub, which is a fruity drink. It is based on Ewoks. It comes with a collectible cup that It's ceramic, but it looks like it's been carved in wood, and it tells the story of the Ewoks defeating the Empire and at the end of Return of the Jedi. And that is a fruity drink. It's not exactly what I wanted in a drink, but I just wanted the cup. I'm more of a like hard cider kind of guy. I don't really like the hard liquor so much. So this wasn't for me, but again, if you want the cups, if you want something nice to take home with you, the Yub Nub is a pretty cool piece.
Yeah, I do. They do that, and then they do a Porg tiki mug, and both of those are some cool looking mugs.
And if you ask nicely, you can go home with a set of coasters, because they do have a series of coasters that are unique. They have the T16 Skyhopper coaster, the Rancor coaster, the Gamorrean Ale coaster, the Yub Nub, like I had mentioned before with the collector cup. There's an Ewok on that coaster. There's a Bantha coaster. If you really want to spend a lot of money on eBay, you can get the Maz coaster. I think that was limited to like $1,500 for one day.
Right, and that was with a special drink that they only had for that one day too, right?
Yeah, no, that was just the one day limited opportunity.
Were you ever there when the hyperdrive failed?
Yes, I was, and that is cool because everyone in the cantina kind of try to slam on and get the thing going again. Everyone gets frustrated. DJ Rex will shut down every once in a while, and they'll yell at him.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I don't think I had DJ Rex fail on me, but I did have the hyperdrive fail on me one time. And I had my lightsaber out taking pictures, and one of the waitresses walked by and yelled at me. She's like, "Put that scrap metal up. No wonder why my hyperdrive keeps failing."
Yeah, DJ Rex will fail, and he'll start because he's been reprogrammed from Star Tours, the original run of it. He actually crash lands. When you're walking out of Galaxy's Edge, you're going to see a crater on your left, and that's actually where DJ Rex crashes. I guess in one of the novels, he's revealed to be a pilot at Return of the Jedi. Or something like that, and he crashes onto Batuu, and he gets reprogrammed, and he goes into Olga's Cantina, and every so often he'll start to glitch and start repeating lines from the old Star Tours, which, as an old school Star Tours fan, I love that stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. That's yet another thing I did not know about DJ Rex. Yeah, I love that Star Tours ride because it was the first real time you were ever able to enter into the Star Wars galaxy. You know, I remember going to it's not the Galaxy's Edge, but Hollywood Studios during the dark time for that 10 years where you had nothing Star Wars, and you walk into that gift shop and spending a half an hour, 45 minutes just in awe of the amount of Star Wars merchandise in one place, because this was even, before the internet. So you couldn't find stuff.
Yeah.
And then also as you're walking out, there's a help wanted sign, I guess is the best way to put it. Like a little place where people have put messages, and it's all in Arabic. So it's, unless you're, take a picture of it and you can go home and translate it. But, it's a bunch of help wanted, and hey, I've got, I need this bounty or that bounty.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a big sign. It almost looks like a flip sign, but all kinds of stuff on it. I have yet to translate it. It's just a cool part of Galaxy's Edge. Did you see the droid scanner when you walk in the door?
I did see the blasters. So if you're walking out of Olga's Cantina on the left in the door, you're going to see some blaster marks. Did you read the Thrawn novel with Anakin and Thrawn?
Yes, I did. That was a great series.
Yeah, so if you read that series, there's a scene where they're on Batuu, and they get into a fight and blast it, and they hit the wall. And that's actually when you walk out and you look on the left, you're going to see blast marks. And that's actually from the story from that Thrawn novel.
And I did see Timothy Zahn. I was up in a con, and he had done a panel, and he was kind of proud of that he was able to make Disney write stuff into their park.
That's awesome.
It's just that he said it was sort of like the dog wagging the tail, or the tail wagging the dog. So he was proud of that.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Did you go to Doc Ondor's Den of Antiquities?
I did. That place is amazing. There's so many Easter eggs all over the place. Pre-COVID, they would just cram as many people as they can into it. How are they treating going in there post-COVID?
Post-COVID, they're restricting entry, so they're limiting how many people can go into the place. Everyone's 6 feet apart, obviously. And it doesn't feel as crowded, which is cool because you can step around and start looking up and around and seeing all the different helmets and all the different stuffed heads and all the different blasters that's around there. And you can actually take your time and try to figure out, okay, where have I seen this? And movies, TV shows, anything Star Wars, place, and if you're a dedicated fan, you're going to be able to pick out a lot of it on your first trip. Vibro axes, I love Gamorrean guards, and those are in Doc Ondor's. They're stuffed creatures, the helmets. You can buy anything. There's a lot you can buy. You can buy Yoda's cane, for crying out loud, from Empire Strikes Back. Luke's the light that Luke uses on Dagobah is available. There's a replica of General Grievous's head. Did you buy anything when you were there?
Actually, I did. I spent a ton of money in Doc's. I did buy the extra Kyber crystal. Bought the extra Kyber crystal. I bought when I did Savvy's. I got a blue one, but then I bought a yellow one at Doc's. I wanted to get the Thrawn painting that they had, but at $400, I got shut down for that one.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the only thing I bought at Doc's was the Kyber crystal, just because it was fast. We spent a lot of money at the creature stall, which we'll get to in a minute. Creature stall and the Toydarian. The Easter eggs in Doc Ondor's were incredible. And them just thinking ahead of time, did they not have they had the gun from Mandalorian, but I could have sworn they had the helmet, the Mandalorian's bucket, in there also.
Yep, it's there right next to the gun.
Right. So that's how far ahead Disney was thinking with the Mandalorian, was to put him in Doc Ondor's. And, of course, they had the full-size stuffed Wampa, which, that was cool to see.
Yeah, I didn't think about this before, but if the Mandalorian's helmet is in Doc Ondor's, that means that at some point in the show, he's going to lose his helmet.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, because from what I'm hearing, Pedro is just he's either leaving, or he hasn't left the show, but they're not going to let him wear the armor anymore. But that would it'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
What I did notice, did you try talking to Doc Ondor when you were in there?
Not talk to Doc Ondor. I asked one of the cast members a question, and they went to Doc, asked him, and I can't remember what the question was now. It's not coming to the top of my head, but they were able to talk to Doc Ondor for me.
The one thing that they did say in the stuff is that you could try to bargain with Doc, but it doesn't really work that way. But I did, one of the cast members did tell me, if you say, "Oh, look, a bug," and are kind of loud and obnoxious about it, Doc does react. And I did scream, "Oh, look, Doc, there's a bug," and it felt like he jumped up or got up and moved around. So it did kind of work, which was fun. Did you get to check out the lightsabers while you were in there?
I looked at the lightsabers, but that wasn't in my budget, so I only bought a Kyber crystal one.
Yeah, the lightsabers are cool. I'm kind of upset they did a vote, and they did Cal from Fallen Order. They did his lightsaber as their new lightsaber in there, and I'm upset with that, because they had the Kanan's and Ezra's lightsaber as one of the choices, and hardly anybody picked those. If they were to make those lightsabers, I would definitely at least get one of them, just because I'm such a big Rebels fan. Yeah, it was cool. It is cool seeing all the lightsabers in person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Jedi Fallen Order is fresh in people's mind, and that's why that won over Rebels. But it would still be cool to have half lightsaber, half blaster.
You can't buy Ezra's saber at Galaxy's Edge, but there's a store closer to the end of the park, right when you walk in to the left, that I was able to buy one, a little kiddie version of it. And so I had to pick that up, just because that's the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah. And before we step out, because everything is so costly, I will recommend that if you are going to Galaxy's Edge, buy one of the Spira, which is a collector's coin. It is the Don Batu in Black Spire. And it's a gift card essentially, and they'll scan it for you and just buy things with it. And when you reach $0, that's another souvenir that you can take home. And that way you can limit and kind of prohibit yourself from spending thousands of dollars, which something, if you have the money, you can easily do.
We got a couple of Spiras because the only thing you have to do is put $100 on it. I know the first go round, they were free. I've heard, are they charging, since you were just there, are they charging like $5 for them now?
Yeah, there is an extra $, which is fine, because you're basically spending $5 for the coin, which I would spend anyway. $100 that you're just going to use you can buy it. And to be clear, you can use it anywhere in the park. You don't have to use it just in Galaxy's Edge. So if you're over, near the Hollywood Tower of Terror and you want to buy yourself a hot dog, you can use the Spiro. They'll scan it for you and you can buy a hot dog there.
Are they still doing the detonator bottles?
The Coca-Cola?
Yes, the Coca-Cola detonator bottles.
Yeah, they're still doing those. They're still doing the water bottles. That's all available. They briefly offered some sort of ale, and I think Coca-Cola got a little bit upset that they're offering a non-Coke product. Those stalls were sponsored by Coca-Cola, and they're serving a non-Coca-Cola product, and they stopped doing that.
Right. Being from Atlanta, we know how bad Coca-Cola can be when it comes to having a competitor come in on their turf. I've been down on where the I think it's North Avenue where their headquarters is, and you can't even buy a Pepsi on North Avenue, which is a few miles long. That's how big Coca-Cola is in Atlanta. So, yeah, I could just imagine them, not wanting beer on their carts at Disney.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Droid Depot next. I did it. It's a fun experience. Jason, I believe you did the Droid Depot also, right?
Yeah, we did it twice. So my son built one, and then my daughter built one on the second time, which is a pretty cool experience. You have the choice of building an R unit, which is like an R2, an R3, an R4, an R5, or a BB unit from the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I did the R unit. It was cool. I was fortunate enough to do it during extra magic hours, so I was one of like maybe 5 people in there. So I was actually able to take my time because basically there's a big conveyor belt where all the parts are streaming by, and you pick them all. You pick your droid parts and put them in a basket, and then walk over to where you build them. And I was actually really fortunate because I was able to take my time, and I actually was able to, okay, does this part look good? Or I don't like this color. Let me go back and grab another one. Or I think if you were full, if that place was full, there's no way you could do that. And it's up to you how fast or how slow you can go. And I would definitely, take my time with it because I don't think Disney's going to stop you. The faster they can get people in and out of there, the better.
Yeah.
I'm a big Rebels guy, but there is an Imperial chopper sitting there.
Yeah.
There's a big row of broken up droids parts right above the conveyor belt. There's a chopper sitting there. So that was cool seeing Chopper in the land. And my son was like, that's not Chopper. And I actually pulled up a picture and it was like, that's freaking Chopper because we were comparing parts.
Theming is second to none in Galaxy's Edge. And when you go into that depot, you're going to see droids from all trilogies, battle droids to pit droid pod races. You're going to see the medical droids from Empire Strikes to even K2SO. You're going to see an Imperial droid there. And there's a lot there. Star Wars fans will know the numbers 1138. And I haven't been able to myself, so I don't know if this is a West Coast thing or if it applies to East Coast, but above you'll see a row of droid arms and legs on a conveyor belt just kind of move throughout the building. And it looks like there's one that comes out and then there's a space, and there's another one that comes out and then there's a space, and then 3 more come out and there's a space, and it kind of goes to 8. So there's the 1138 kind of hidden above. If you're a Star Wars fan, you look for it. I didn't see it myself, so I can't confirm this is true, but I heard that's the case.
I remember hearing that, I didn't even think to look up and see that. You didn't do it post-COVID, did you?
No, we didn't do it post-COVID, but you do need a reservation to get inside, and they're spacing everyone out, so there's limiting how many people can go in there. If you can walk up, the chances are you're not going to be able to get inside because everyone has their appointment.
Speaking of appointments, you do need for Savvy's, Droid Depot, and Oga's, all those you kind of do need to make a reservation for. It's kind of easy, but if you're used to going to Disney, making reservations for stuff is second nature because you're planning your Disney trip months in advance. You can kind of walk up to Oga's if you're lucky, and they do have a waiting list, but there's no guarantees. I think the same thing with Droid Depot, but like you just said, Jason, with post-COVID, there's no, there not really is one. And, you just, make reservations is the best piece of advice I can give you.
Yeah, post-COVID, the park was supposed to open at 10, and we got there at 9:30, and they were letting people in. And I was watching it, everyone was going straight. They were going right to that new Mickey Mouse ride at the Runaway Railway. and we decided to go left towards Galaxy's Edge. There was not many people in there. And so 9:30 in the morning, we got right onto Smuggler's Run within 5 minutes. We got done with that. I went over to Oga's Cantina and I asked them, is there a wait list? And they said, yes, there is. But if you want to get in right now, there's a good chance you can get in. So I asked her, can I get in now? She was like, yep, you'll be the first customer of the day. And we were in right away at 9:45 and sit down. And it's a little early to have a drink, but it was more for the experience. Yeah, try to get in as quickly as possible. You can do a lot first thing. Everyone's looking for that bright, shiny thing, which is the Runaway Railway.
Right. And I actually did the opposite when we were there with the extra magic hours, because I had been there the day before. And when we went, everybody was going towards Galaxy's Edge. And I looked at my wife and I said, let's go to Slinky Dog and do Toy Story. So we were able to do Toy Story and Toy Story Mania very fast. And then we went and we were able to buy, my wife was yelling at me. She says, why am I up at 4:30 in the morning? And then at, 8:30, 9 o'clock, when we're sitting there having breakfast in Docking Bay 7, having done everything, she was thanking me because it was, we were able to knock it all out in 3 hours.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely do your research before you go down to Galaxy's Edge, because Disney is known for, we're both Disney heads. And you learn real fast you got to do your research. You got to book it ahead of time. People plan Disney trips years ahead of time. And now they've got a new reservation system where you can't just say, hey, I want to go to Disney today. You wake up and go. You've got to, they're limiting. I think it's what I'm hearing 25% is the number I'm hearing, park capacity. So they're definitely having a hard number on the people that they're letting in every day. Definitely make a reservation, look it up, and do some research.
Yeah, definitely. Do all that stuff. Star Wars fans are used to waiting in line, so you're gonna, wait in line early in the morning. And you're gonna reap all the rewards as everyone goes to, like I said, the Runaway Railway. And you're gonna go straight to Galaxy's Edge, and you're gonna get into everything before it opens.
Right. And I just mentioned Docking Bay 7. Did you get a chance to eat there when you were there?
No, I didn't eat there. I ate at Ronto's Roasters, which is a giant. So there's a droid that you'll recognize from Return of the Jedi, and there's a giant pod racer that they're using to heat all the food. Roasters is like a wrap with chicken, some coleslaw on it. It was a little spicy for me. What did you think of?
I really enjoyed it. I got it without the coleslaw because I'm not a coleslaw. I don't like mayonnaise. I really enjoyed it. To me, I think it was one of the better food options in Galaxy's Edge. I did get it with some barbecue sauce to add to that, give it a little bit more kick. And I really enjoyed it. It's a little bit expensive, but it's like $15-$16, but it does fill you up. So it makes up for it. It's wrapped in a pita, and they do have a nice little outside area that you could sit in. And like Jason just said, they have that big pod racer engine that's cooking the meat, and that droid's spinning it around, and it's just a cool atmosphere. I actually tried using the Jedi mind trick on the people there, and they did not buy it because my son was with me, and we both got beer, and they were like, we need to see your identification. And I'm like, you don't need to see his identification. And they're like, sorry, sir, that doesn't work here. So it was kind of a fun little little trick.
Post-COVID, I will mention post-COVID that if you're going to go to one of those locations, you're going to mobile order. I don't think Docking Bay 7 is open. I'm not sure about Ronto's Roasters. That was roped off, so I don't think that's open for mobile order. But you're going to have to order in your Disney Experience app, and then when they call you, you'll go up there and show them that your food is ready and pick it up, and then you'll go outside and eat. You won't be able to go inside and order as before.
Oh, so they're not even letting you in Docking Bay 7 right now?
No, you have to order in advance, and then once it's ready, you can go in and pick it up, but then you have to go outside to that open area to eat.
Oh, wow. That's really sad, because that place, Docking Bay 7, it's really, the atmosphere in there is really cool, because they've got a bunch of, because it's a shipping depot, basically. There's a bunch of shipping crates, and there's one that's sitting open with all the fresh fish or seafood or whatever there, and you look up and there's stuff hanging from the ceiling. There's a big shipping crate that's hanging from the ceiling along with all the other food and accoutrements, if you will. But yeah, that's really a bummer that you can't spend time in there. And then there's also the soundtrack that they're playing of ships taking off. So you're sitting there watching or listening to the ships taking off while you're eating, and some of them are really loud and some of them are really soft. But Yeah, that's really a bummer.
Can't wait to hit that when COVID's over and I can go sit down and experience that.
How is COVID? How are they handling the marketplace with COVID?
So with the marketplace, you're gonna have to get in line. You're gonna have to stand 6 feet away, and they're limiting how many people can go into the actual marketplace. And then with the actual stalls, so if you want to go into one of the toydariums, toy place, the creature stalls, it's one person per stall. So you're gonna wait to get in. And once you're in, you're gonna have to wait to get into the actual stalls. The popcorn is closed, so you can't get any of the popcorn, which has like a fruity flavor to it. It's like a syrup that they kind of lace on top of the popcorn. That's closed. You can't get that, but you can go in and get toys. You can get your creatures. You can get your costume pieces if you really want those.
Wow.
It's changed.
Because I remember you're in there pre-COVID and everybody's on top of each other walking through there. And then those stalls are very, very small. So wow, one person per stall. So that's, is it even if you're the same family?
No, I'm sorry. One unit per stall. So, if you're a family of three, all three of you will be able to get in and check it out. But if you're two families, you won't be able to go in at the same time.
Like at the Toydarian shop, you look up and that whole ceiling's full of marionettes, and there's a really awesome ad that when I saw it, I was really hoping it was for sale. When I saw the picture concept art of it, I was really hoping it was going to be for sale, but it's just for show. And there's something sleeping up in the corner. You don't really know what it is, but you can see it see it moving around.
There's a window where you're working behind the scenes, and a Toydarian is, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but he's basically Watto's species from episode 1. You can see him working behind the scenes.
There's a prank call.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many different Easter eggs in this place. It's incredible that they put so much thought. You go to the drinking fountains, you're going to see a Dianoga from episode 4 in the trash compactor. There's just so much everywhere. It's just go see it.
It's just amazing. It's an amazing land.
The other thing I will mention is talk to the cast members, because each cast member was encouraged to develop their own backstory. And it might have been lost during COVID because we're trying to get through this thing and trying to stay 6 feet apart. But once things kind of calm down back in there, ask the cast members, where did you come from? Where do you live? How did you get here? Because each individual cast member has a unique story that they were supposed to develop. And it's just another level of immersion.
Right. Yeah. That was one of the things that the couple of ones that had spent the time developing their story was great. When I was at Docking Bay 7, there was a guy, I was like, hey man, what's your story? And he had really developed it. And we probably spent 10 minutes talking and just, he knew where he was from and what happened and how he ended up there, but a lot of them, which was a little bit of a bummer that they hadn't developed them all the way yet. And then at Savvy's, I did run into a guy when I was paying for my lightsaber that I'd asked, hey, who's this Mickey Mouse character? Because you can't find any like Star Wars items, anything that says Star Wars, they don't have it at Galaxy's Edge. And I was like, who's this Mickey Mouse guy? Because all the receipts are real Mickey Mouse receipts or Disney World receipts. And he goes, I don't know. He's some kind of womp rat, I think. And I look at the guy and I said, do you think I could shoot him with my T-16 like I do back home? And he broke. It was great. He gave me a little chuckle and he was like, that's a good one.
There you go. You win the day.
Yep. I'd won the day that day. But like at Oga's, I'd asked for, I was there, it was 6 o'clock in the morning and I wanted calf, which is coffee. Yep. And I walked into Oga's and I'm like, hey, can I get some calf? And they're like, you want what? And that's more of an EU thing than a EU, the expanded universe rather. So I was digging deep for that one and they just kind of looked at me and then I said, well, it's coffee. And then, oh, okay, hold on.
Come on, Disney, get on board.
Exactly. And I also asked for death sticks and the guy's like, what the heck are you talking about? So he at least tried. And I think he went in the back and asked somebody, what's some death sticks? And then he goes, I need to tell you something about going back and rethinking your life.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. You got it.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. He's got it.
So that was fun. And do you got any closing thoughts?
I would say really immerse yourself. Use your imagination. You've been watching these movies since you were probably the age of 4 or 5. You've used your imagination. You've dreamed of what it's like to be in these places. Go experience it, have fun. There's droids that you can take photos with. There's doorways. I love to take photos with doorways because it looks like we're hiding. The way that they have these doorways, you're kind of in the door frame itself. You kind of peek around and maybe somebody's coming to get you or you're hiding from someone, and really, really cool to take those photos. So again, just have fun, immerse yourself. Disney is probably one of the safest places to be right now because they're taking all the precautions to make sure everyone's wearing masks. Everyone's staying 6 feet apart. They're really going the extra length to make sure their guests feel safe and they have fun, because it's a scary world right now, and this is one place where you can go and have that fun.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do love about Disney and about Star Wars is you can go and forget about the outside world for those 8 hours that you're there, or hell, the week that you're there, because you do that. Disney bubble is real. I was in it a year ago, and I can't wait to get back, because it is you the minute you step on property to the minute you leave the outside world, you just forget about it, and you do feel like a kid again. Being a Disney head and being a Star Wars geek, there's no better place in the world than Galaxy's Edge. And
all right, here's the thing about Harry Potter and Universal Studios, and there's one issue that I have with Star Wars and Galaxy's Edge. So when you're going to Diagon Alley, you're going to Hogsmeade, you are going to the place that you've seen in the movies. And you get chills because you recognize things that you've seen in the movies. And you feel like you're stepping into the movie. When you go to Galaxy's Edge, this is a new land. This is supposed to be your Star Wars story. It is not the Star Wars story from the movies that you've seen. It's not the same as walking on a Tatooine, which I think would have been something that would have blown my mind. Disney's done a great job to try to immerse yourself like those places, but I guess what I'm saying that Hogsmeade and Diagon does have the edge because you are walking into a familiar world. Mm-hmm. Whereas Batuu, it's kind of new. It's your Star Wars story, like I mentioned, and it's not something you're familiar with. There are things in the land that you're familiar with, like the Falcon, of course. But I think Oga's Cantina, if it was the cantina from A New Hope, I mean, that would have just, oh my gosh, I would have not have left. I would have stayed there for days.
Right, and I kind of feel the same because I've never seen Harry Potter, but when you go, you go in there, and maybe it's because they have a year or two head start, that the people there know their shit.
Yeah.
Because I went and I asked the guy, hey, when does the dragon breathe? And he's like, well, she's a taunty, or I forgot the exact words, but he was just basically saying she does what she wants and she's a moody beast or something. And you're like, dude, just tell me when the damn dragon breathes.
What, 5 o'clock?
You're right. Is it every 20 minutes? Is it every half an hour? Give me.
Yeah, no, we're cutting the immersion for 5 minutes. Tell me.
Harry Potter, it does feel, because when you win Diagon Alley, it's like it's closed in. So you do feel like you're sneaking in there. And the first time I went, I passed it. And my son works at Universal, and we couldn't find it because we walk right by it and we're like, that's kind of weird. What's that? And you walk in there and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard a rumor, and I'm hoping this pans out, because if you're listening to this Mandalorian season 2, it's my understanding that they wanted to put the Mandalorian on Batuu. So, that's a rumor I heard a year ago, and I haven't heard anything since. So I don't even know if this is going to pan out, but if the Mandalorian does end up on Batuu, I'm going to be like, finally, this is what I want. This is great. It would be even better if they filmed it after hours out in the West Coast, season 2 at Disneyland. That would be pretty cool.
But with that screen they got, they could make it look like they're in Batuu and they're in a freaking soundstage.
And I won't lie, when that trailer came out, I was looking at the background saying, is that Batuu? Is that Batuu?
Oh, wow. And there is actually, I did hear a rumor that they were trying to do a Baby Yoda meet and greet and a Mandalorian meet and greet.
Yeah, there is a photo op available. So post-COVID, that's very rare because they don't want people lining up and waiting for photos. Any opportunity for people to crowd around each other, Disney's trying to prevent that. But there are opportunities to take your photo with Baby Yoda in his pram, floating next to you.
So Jason, in closing, how do they handle, because I know post-COVID, they were, the characters are walking around and, Chewie and everything, and you can go up and you could touch Chewie, you could touch Rey, you could touch Kylo, and have your picture taken with them. how are they handling the character meet and greets post-COVID?
Post-COVID, so there's infrastructure in place for like a stunt show that can happen around you on rooftops. And it's not something that they've really utilized for the stunt show, but they are using it for Ray and Chewbacca to kind of walk on top of rooftops to wave down at you. And that's the best way that you can have those interactions. So Ray did actually look at my nephew, and my nephew did look up and wave. And my nephew loved Chewbacca, so he's like, "Hey, there's Chewbacca." And then when you go to there's a section where the Imperials have, and that's where the TIE Echelon is, and that's where Kylo Ren will walk out, and they'll just keep moving. Let me know if you see the Resistance. We saw 4 stormtroopers up there kind of patrolling and walking back and forth and doing whatever Kylo said. So there is some distance between you and them, but they are present. They're just not walking around like before pre-COVID.
Oh, great. So yeah, you're still having it, but it's still social distance.
Yes.
Jason, it's good having you on board, and hopefully we'll get to record again soon and get some of these podcasts back on track. Please look for us. Jason, do you want to give your IG or your Facebook information?
I'm Jason Wasoko on Instagram. If you want, you go to wasoko.com. I do some writing, so you can check out some of that if you're really interested in learning more about me blabbering on. I blabber on for a whole novel.
Oh, wow. So you've written a novel?
Yes.
Oh, that is awesome. I did not know that about you.
It's out there. If you really want to read it, it's available on your Kindles.
Oh, that is awesome. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me because you are very creative, watching you over the pandemic and everything being creative. It does not surprise me. But yeah, you can find me, Glenn. Just look at me at Glenn Williams on Facebook, Cajun Fett on Instagram. You can find us, Smugglers Galaxy, on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also email us at smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Hit us up if you got any show ideas or got any questions. And, hopefully we can get back to you and use your information. So anyway, Jason, thanks for joining me. Everybody, this was Smugglers Galaxy podcast, and we'll see you later. May the Force be with you.